My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Last week we celebrated Mary's Assumption into heaven, that at the end of her life she was taken up to heaven, body and soul. Today, we celebrate her coronation as the Queen of the universe. We honor Mary, the Queen. We can only imagine what happened when Our Lady entered heaven. Try to picture her magnificent entrance to heaven, and to think of all the courtiers of heaven running to contemplate the new queen. Upon seeing her beauty, they would ask one another, "Who is she?" Well, if we were there, we would have answered with the words of the Archangel Saint Gabriel, "Hail, full of grace! You are welcomed into this glory, because you are the Blessed One among all creatures, and will now sit on the highest throne, the closest possible throne to God." So as we ponder this mystery, we join the angels and we rejoice with them, and we can say that by special privilege, we rejoice even more than them, because they call her Queen, but we call her Mother, because she is, and we are her royal children. So all this, with all its beauty, was only the end of the entrance of Mary into heaven. The great moment came when God comes out to meet her and invites her to sit on the throne that belonged to her because of her dignity as the Mother of God. Yes, Mary is Queen, especially because of the words of the Archangel, who announced her royal position to Mary at the Annunciation. Today's Gospel. So Saint Gabriel foretold that Jesus, her son, would reign forever. And Jesus is Christ the King. And the mother of a king is, of course, the Queen Mother. So Mary is the Queen. We cannot remain simply admiring Mary in her glorious coronation. Instead, let's try to give her the best homage that we can give her today. I remember the story of a queen who was on a summer vacation in the countryside, and how on one occasion she was strolling with a group of school children, and suddenly the sky turned gray and thick, and dark clouds appeared. The queen stopped at a nearby house, and then she asked if she might be able to borrow an umbrella. She told the lady of the house, "Don't worry, I'll send it back to you tomorrow." So the lady of the house was reluctant about lending a good umbrella to a total stranger. You'll understand why she did not recognize the queen, because when this incident happened, it was not yet the time of social media. So in any case, she remembered that she had an old umbrella up in the attic, but one rib was broken and there were several holes in it. But she nevertheless turned it over to this lady at her front door with a weak apology. Then the next day came, and there was another knock at the door. This time, when she opened it, a man in gold braid stood with a big envelope in hand. "The Queen sent me," he said, "and asked me to thank you for the umbrella." So imagine how the woman of the house reacted. For a moment, she stood motionless. She was speechless. But then she burst into tears, and finally she cried, "Oh, what an opportunity I missed, that I didn't give her my best. I didn't give the Queen my best." So you might say, how embarrassing. But then, how often, I wonder, do we give Mary, our queen, our second best, or even our leftovers? So let's not give her our broken umbrellas, nor our leftovers. If we could paraphrase the words of that old hymn, we can say, give of your best to the queen. Give her first place in your heart. Give her first place in your service. Consecrate every part. Give her the best that you have. And as we pray, let's tell her, on this day, oh beautiful mother, on this day, we give you our love. Like in our effort to smile more in the midst of our tiredness, and in the tiredness as we catch our breath, we tell her that that work is for her. When we offer her our effort to put more warmth in our interaction with those whom we encounter today, and many little things that give joy to a mother. In fact, one of the best homages we can give Mary our Queen is by looking up to her as our mother. Here we can learn from the founder of Opus Dei, Saint Josemaria Escrivá, on how to deal with Mary, our Queen Mother. In 1970, while making a novena to the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City, Saint Josemaria told those who were with him that he remembered with perfect clarity the first time that he went to Our Lady with the full consciousness that he was praying to her. And he said that must have been when he was about 2 or 3 years old. So he invited his companions in the shrine, as we can imagine he's also inviting us now, to do the same, to recall our first conscious effort to turn to Mary as our mother. And Saint Josemaria used to recommend a devotion that he himself practiced, that devotion of affectionately kissing the forehead of an image of our Heavenly Mother, and then with the tender affection of a child to tell her, come with me. So in your case, who's praying with me in this 10 minutes with Jesus, it may be looking more mindfully at an image of Mary that you have in your room or on your device, and to tell her, come with me, be with me as I pray, be with me as the day unfolds with its many challenges. I'm sure we have all experienced the help of Mary in our life, and for this reason, and because she deserves it, we can never thank her enough. We cannot praise her as she deserves, and we can never exaggerate in speaking about the dignity of the one who gave her flesh and her blood to Jesus so that he can be born. So today we turn to our Mother Mary, recognizing once more that she is the instrument of divine providence to bring us the graces that we need. What she said to the native Juan Diego in Guadalupe could well be addressed to all of us. I, who am your mother, stand before you. You remain always under the shelter of my protection. Be aware of how fortunate you are to have access to my motherly care at all times. Access to my motherly care at all times. You see, Mary is in heaven. She's the Queen of Heaven. But she's a mother who's monitoring us, who's watching over us. She knows very well what is good for us, and that is precisely what she asks God for us. So let's turn to her intercession with a lot of confidence. During moments of trial, when a certain discouragement weakens us, let's look with greater effort to our Heavenly Mother who has already conquered and who reigns in heaven. With her powerful help, we will always be victorious, although at times we may experience defeat in the little battles of our daily struggle. But to win the battles of our spiritual life, let us have recourse to our Heavenly Mother more. With the confidence of children, we go to her so that she may help us to live in holiness, so that she may give us the impulse to begin again each time we fall, because we are so weak. We are aware of our limitations, of our weaknesses, and maybe sometimes we find it hard to believe that we could do much for God. Now, if we have fears and doubts, let us draw courage from Mary. And now we end with these comforting words from Pope Benedict XVI. In serenity or in life's darkness, let us address Mary, entrusting ourselves to her continuous intercession, so that she may obtain for us from her Son every grace and mercy that we need for our pilgrimage on the highways of the world. Yes, Mary is the Queen of Heaven who is close to God, but she is also the Mother who is close to each one of us, who loves us and who listens to us. And with grateful hearts today, as we also celebrate the first anniversary of 10 Minutes with Jesus, we join Mary the Queen in her Magnificat. My soul magnifies the Lord, for he has done great things in us. In this 1 year of 10 Minutes with Jesus. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.